Hi, my name is Barry Sterling Mitchell. I produce the Sterling Net Point Power Rankings and the Bias Plus reports. Today is August 14th, 2025. That would be Thursday. And this is Ben and Barry on football.
What's going on, everybody? I'm your co-host, Ben Dickerson. Ready for part two of the Braintrust reports. Turn it over to just to get it going.
All right, all right. Okay, so Benny, we're going to start off with those Atlanta Falcons. General Manager Terry Fontenot. Our average net point plus score for the Falcons in 2024 was minus 3.6. Now, Terry is a former Saints exec. He emphasizes character, versatility, and long-term roster balance. So that's Terry Fontenot, GM for the Falcons. Head coach Raheem Morris, defensive-minded leader with a strong locker room presence, returned to ATL after a stint with the Rams. Raheem Morris. Zach Robinson, offensive coordinator. He's a McVay disciple, known for quarterback-friendly designs and motion-heavy schemes. Sounds like not just a McVay, but Shanahan too, right? And Jeff Ulbrich, defensive coordinator. Former Jets defensive coordinator, aggressive fronts, linebacker development. He looks like the linebacker type guy, no doubt about it. Special teams coordinator Marquise Williams. Marquise is an energetic guy with focus on a return game and field position. So that helps. They had these new rules for the kickoff, man. You got to make sure you know what's going on. I think they said if you kick it out of bounds by accident, it goes out to the 40 now. And if you kick it into the end zone, it goes out to the 35. It's amazing. So that's probably one of the areas with the most changes you got to keep up with, that kicking game. And of course, at quarterback, again, I went with Michael Penix Jr., okay? Penix, 2024 first rounder, that got that arm, that deep ball shot, but he's got to stay healthy and he's got to beat out his competition. So, Benny, the Atlanta Falcons Braintrust, top to bottom, what you got?
Well, obviously we know Raheem Morris. He's been around for a while. Good head coach. He's had a couple opportunities at it. Hopefully he can hold on to this one. Zach Robinson is an ex-player, ex-quarterback, in fact. So he's already done the whole assistant coach, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator now deal. And Jeff Ulbrich's been around for a while. So it's a veteran staff. That's a good thing. They're in a tough division, the NFC South. I think this year they may, in fact, challenge for the division. Years past, recent years past, the Buccaneers have pretty much owned the NFC South. I personally think that's going to continue, but I think Atlanta this year is possibly, with Michael Penix Jr. at the helm, could possibly challenge for the division lead, division title.
All right, wait a minute. You got Bucks, Falcons. Who else is in there? Carolina?
And Saints.
And the Saints. Yeah, okay. I can see that. I can see that. All right. Let's move on. Next up, Miami Dolphins with Chris Greer, general manager, average net point of minus 2.3. Now, Chris has built a speed-centric roster. I think that's very obvious. Known for bold trades and draft swings. So he likes that speed. He got what he wanted. Head coach Mike McDaniel, quirky genius with a run game foundation and motion-heavy passing attack. Quirky. That's one thing they could say about him. I was listening to the one guy that's talking about when the Dolphins had to go play the Bills, and it was apparently dog cold up there. And they said this particular coach said that when he looked at McDonald looked like he was freezing. And he thought that pass along, that attitude passed along to his team, whereas on the Bills side, they're running around like it's no big deal, having fun. But yeah, that's going to be their challenge. Quirky genius with a run game foundation and motion heavy passing attack. Frank Smith is the offensive coordinator, collaborative play designer, works closely with McDaniel on game plans. Anthony Weaver, defensive coordinator, former Ravens assistant, emphasizes hybrid fronts and disguise pressures. I like this guy because that's how I play Madden. Hybrid fronts and disguise pressures. Yes. Special teams coordinator Craig Ackerman. Detail-oriented with a focus on field position and coverage discipline. Yes, you got to hold your lanes there, buddy. And of course, Tua Tagovailoa. Finally learned how to say that, Benny. Quick release passer with elite anticipation, thrives in rhythm-based systems. He always reminds me of Purdy. It's like him and Purdy, I believe, are really, really good quarterbacks. They have the same types of weaknesses. But that's your Miami Dolphins, Benny. What do you think?
Well, we all know by now that Tua is an injury risk. The worst kind of injury risk, in fact, having had several concussions. And if you know or have read anything about concussions, every one you get makes you more susceptible to getting another one. So he's always going to have that hanging over his head. Anthony Weaver and his hybrid fronts and disguised defenses hasn't really fooled anybody in the last couple of years. That defense has been a sieve. I hope that they can do a little bit better. I would have to go back and take a look at their draft and what they did in free agency, but I'm not so sure that they're going to be much improved from the way they were last season. In fact, no names jump out at me at the moment. I could be wrong, but no names jump out at me at the moment as having gone there to possibly make that defense better. Frank Smith, as noted in what you said about him, helps Mike McDaniel out with the game plans and stuff, but Mike McDaniel is the head coach and the play caller. So even he's going to have to work a little bit harder. I think what he's finding out is speed is great. No doubt about it. Speed is great, but you need more than speed.
Yeah.
Definitely need more than speed. And, you yourself talk about, well, what are you going to do when you get in goal line situation? What do you do when you need that big first down? You know what I mean?
Speed and power game, no doubt.
That definitely slows them down. So
Hey,
I don't
you can't do a fast tush push.
I mean, the only thing speed will help you with is that when it comes to that is if you get up in quick snap before the defense is 100% ready. That's about it. But that don't really have nothing to do with speed.
And
that's just catching them.
A quarterback with a concussion history, you probably don't want in the middle of a tush push.
Anyway. Right. So personally, I'm picking the Dolphins to bring up the rear in the NFC South. Some people would say, well, wait a minute, what about the Jets or the Patriots? Tell you what, I like what I've seen from Drake May so far. So that kind of elevates the Patriots in my mind. And I cannot, for the life of me, turn my back on Justin Fields just yet. I've been rooting for this guy from day one. I want to give him a chance. They have a lot of weapons on offense. The defense looks pretty solid, especially the pass rush. Secondary is not bad.
All right,
so,
hold some of that for the Jets because I believe they're coming up.
Okay, well, I'll give it to you again in specifics.
Yeah.
But that puts the Dolphins at the back end of that division, if you ask me.
Yeah, you had me cracking up last show when you left them off, and I was like, "What about the Dolphins?" He was like, "No." I said, "Okay, well, excuse me." Tua, Benny's not real happy with you guys, and I understand. Again, was it force times mass times acceleration? Acceleration is only one of the three. You need the mass, you need the force. So when it comes time, that's the deal. Let's look at the Chicago Bears, Benny. General manager is Ryan Poles. As you can see, we're getting closer to the positive side of things on the average net points plus. However, the Bears are coming up at minus 1.5. And all things considered, with a rookie quarterback, that's better than a lot of teams did. So, we'll give that to him. Um, he's a former offensive lineman. I like that. Rebuilt the Bears with youth and high upside talent. So that's Ryan Poles, young guy there. Head coach is now Ben Johnson, offensive wizard, previously OC in Detroit, known for QB development. And I believe he has his hands full there, Benny. We'll talk about that in a hot minute. DeClan Doyle, offensive coordinator, a young innovator from Denver, a tight end specialist turned play caller. So this is what's that? You call that a rookie OC, right, Benny? DC, Dennis Allen. Well, he ain't no rookie. Since 2017, when he was with the Saints, he had the second most four-man fronts in the NFL. He was in man coverage 55% of the time on dropbacks, which was fifth highest, and showed two high safeties on 45% of his snaps, which was the third highest. So we kind of know what he likes to do. Special teams coordinator Richard Hightower, experienced coordinator known for discipline units and field positions. And I don't know if he has blue fingernails at this particular point, Benny. However, Caleb Williams, quarterback for the Chicago Bears, 2024 number one pick, dynamic playmaker with elite arm and improvisational skills, now under the tutelage of a quarterback who has completely different ideas. I don't think he cares about the improvisation as much, but that always becomes a part of it. So there's your Chicago Bears, Benny. What you got?
Dennis Allen is a DC. He's a former head coach also. He's had his chances at leading a team from the head coaching position, but he's a pretty good defensive coordinator. If I'm not mistaken, he just got there. I'm not sure he was there last year, but regardless, they'll be much better when they get all their personnel in place that can suit this guy and the kind of defenses that he likes to run. The offensive coordinator sounds to me like not only is he a rookie offensive coordinator, he's a glorified tight ends coach who's simply going to help Ben Johnson devise game plans. He's not even a quarterback's coach, so he can't help him with Caleb Williams. Not that he needs help with Caleb Williams, but then again, like you said, he's got his hands full. He may need help with Caleb Williams. I don't know. But from what I hear, he's been struggling a bit in camp. And this ain't no time to be struggling. You're supposed to be on the up and up here, man. I'm telling you. They made the move to get Ben Johnson over there in plenty of time for those guys to put their heads together and start talking game planning and not game planning, but playbook stuff and concepts and things of that nature. So whatever's slowing him down, I think is up in here as far as Caleb is concerned. They're in a tough division.
Habits. He's got, the way he played, you get somebody, and that's what's going to happen with Justin. The way he with Fields, the way he plays and has played and has been successful. To turn that corner, is not sometimes a little challenging. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
The difference is Justin's with a team now who is willing to live with the way that he plays. Other than the fact that he could throw the ball a little better, but the way he runs, the way he moves, the plays he makes outside the pocket, they're cool with that. So that's going to be a little easier.
This is when we go back. Remember, I used to make fun of Buddy Ryan, and I used to say he can't spell offense. He used to tell what who was it? His quarterback back then was
to bring Cunningham in on third down.
Do your thing. Get us a first down.
Hey, get a first down. Sounds like something I would do up Simon's coaching the flag team. Bro, get us a first down. What do you want, coach? Get us a first down. That's what I want.
There you go.
Come on, man.
And we know Colin Cowherd does not. He favors offensive-minded head coaches. He believes that they're more effective overall. So I do understand letting him run. I was a little disappointed in the preseason game where he ran in for the touchdown. I'm like, I thought he had some people he could have thrown the ball to. So that's going to be it. Those first 10 yards happen so fast. that I question sometimes I question vision. You remember they used to talk about who was the guy that the greatest hockey player ever? Um, uh,
Greatest hockey player ever,
yeah,
in my opinion,
yeah.
Wayne Gretzky.
Okay, exactly who I was thinking about. They used to say he saw things faster than other people.
Okay.
Speed of vision, much less processing power, but you still got to see it, and I can understand that it happens. So especially if you don't have an offensive coordinator who understands that if you need three yards, you don't need a 7 yard drop. You only need a 3 to 5 yard drop. Probably just a three because you got by the time you get that ball out, boom, that's what it has to be. So those things, if they're not really matched up correctly, can create problems. But
Well, I wasn't disappointed at all. Didn't look like he was under that much duress. And I think he saw an opening to a touchdown and he took it. I don't even remember anybody touching him.
no, nobody touched him. Oh yeah,
Good. So then he did see something. So why should he stay back there and try to find a receiver when he knows he can waltz in?
because that's the part of his game he needs to develop, and this is preseason. That's
Okie dokie.
that would be my reason.
Okay. And we just started off by talking about he's with a team now that can live with the way that he plays. And that's the way he plays.
Well, we'll see if they can live with the limitations of the way he plays. That's going to
The
be
limitations are the way he throws the ball, not whether he will or won't.
Well, I didn't say whether he will or won't. I'm just saying
You did. You said that's a part of his game that needs development.
he needs
That
to
he
develop
should
the
stay
pass, that's
back
what I'm saying.
and look for a receiver.
But he needs to be more efficient. Okay? Better touch on his long.
Yes.
So there's things to work on. That's all I'm saying. This is what preseason is about.
Okay.
This is why you do those things.
Bro, you brought a specific play that has nothing to do with what you're saying now. Nothing. Zero.
I believe it does. It has everything to do with it. It's decision making. It's quickness.
It's 6 points. It's 6 points.
In preseason.
Untouched. The same thing's going to happen in real games.
We'll see. We shall see. We shall see.
Will.
Because it won't be against the second and third strings and all of them guys.
It'll still happen.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying he won't because he's a great runner. It's just that the question is now, playoffs, and beyond. Can you carry that through? That's the question. So, who's up next? We have the Seattle Seahawks with John Snyder coming in with an average net point plus of minus 1.2. Now, Mr. Snyder, longtime Seahawks architect, rebuilt the roster post Russell Wilson. So he's been there for a long time. Next up, Mike McDonald. He has not been there for a long time. We have pretty much a new coach coming in, former Ravens DC, another defensive-minded guy, cerebral defensive mind with modern scheme versatility. So we have a defensive-minded head coach. In Seattle, he's bringing in Clint Kubiak as his offensive coordinator, who is the son of Gary Kubiak, who emphasizes play action and quarterback-friendly designs. Next up, defensive coordinator Aiden Durday, UK-born coach, rising star with aggressive edge rush packages, coming off that edge. And Jay Harbaugh, name sounds familiar, don't it, Benny? Special teams coordinator, son of Jim, detail-oriented with strong return game emphasis, and leading the Braintrust, Sam Darnold, quarterback, veteran with a fresh opportunity, backed by rookie Jalen Milroe. So there you go, Benny, your Seattle Seahawks, my NFC West competition.
Sam Darnold really was able to shine last year while he was with the Vikings. Had a very good head coach, offensive coordinator, and did really, really well. Got a little tight around the collar come playoff time, but for the most part, had an outstanding season. Now on a new team with a defensive-minded head coach, so I'm sure he knew that it would be very important for him to have an offensive coordinator that would be able to bring Sam Darnold along, somebody that he'd be comfortable with. I think Clint Kubiak will be that guy. I expect Sam Darnold to be just as good as he was with the Vikings, if not better, now that he's with the Seahawks. And Jay Harbaugh starting off as a special teams coach the way his dad did with the Eagles.
All right. All right. So Benny likes Sam Darnold. What happened with Sam Darnold near the end of the season, the Vikings, to me was, you know what it kind of reminded me of? Your boy Kirk Cousins down in Atlanta in his last few games, and all of a sudden this thing just nosedived. I'm not sure if they're related at all, but it just reminded me of it. So, all right, who's up next, Benny? Oh, Monty Ossenford with the Arizona Cardinals. We stay in the division, and we have moved from the negative to the positive, Benny, on average net points plus of 0.4. Congratulations to the Cardinals for finally getting us out the basement. Ossenford is a former Titans and Patriots exec known for draft and developing philosophies and rebuilding through youth and trench play. Trench play. Jonathan Gannon, we all know that name. Defensive specialist who helped lead the Eagles to Super Bowl 50, what's that, 57, now in his third year with Arizona, focused on culture and accountability. Drew Petzing, offensive coordinator, former Browns QB coach, emphasizes play action, tight end usage, and quarterback-friendly designs. Quarterback-friendly designs, Benny. Want to see what that means. Defensive coordinator Nick Rallis, youngest DC in the NFL when he was hired in 2023, former Eagles linebacker coach known for hybrid fronts and aggressive blitz packages. Special teams coordinator Jeff Rogers, assistant head coach and special teams coordinator respected for coverage discipline, return game fundamentals, and QB Kyler Murray, former #1 overall pick, a dual threat with an elite arm talent and mobility. Entering 7th season, Benny, 7 seasons for the young boy. I remember when he first came in, and we was like, what's he going to do? He started running around like a bug. Nobody catch him. So, what do you got there?
I'm trying to look real quick and see how long. Was Drew Petzing the offensive coordinator last year?
I'd have to double check. I will.
Previously served as an assistant coach for Cleveland Browns and Minnesota Vikings. That sounds like this is his first year there. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's the way it looks. Assistant offensive coordinator. Yeah. Jonathan Gannon, the head coach, being a defensive-minded head coach, needs an offensive coordinator that he can depend on to take care of Kyler Murray and to take care of that offense because he is a defensive-minded head coach. If you brought Drew Petzing in from being an assistant with the Minnesota Vikings, if that was his last stop, I say there's a good chance of that being a positive thing. If the Cleveland Browns was his last stop, and I don't have time to look all that up, I would say that might not be as good a thing.
Petzing is 2023. He came in.
Oh, he's been there since 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that answers my question. So him and Kyler Murray already have a nice rapport, I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I don't think the Cardinals defensively, I look at them kind of the way I look at the Bears defense. I'm not sure that personnel-wise they're going to be as good as they need to be. Nick Rallis, the defensive coordinator, obviously came along with Gannon from when they were both on the Philadelphia Eagles staff at the same time, which a lot of head coaches do. They'll bring along guys that they've coached with or guys that have coached under them and promote them to coordinator jobs. So I'm not surprised at that. How well he does, though, is going to depend on how well the GM keeps bringing in that good talent.
Okay. All right. There you go. Better keep bringing in that good talent there, buddy, because if not, my Niners might have something to say about it. However, next up, the LA Rams, still in the division, Benny. General manager Les Snead with an average net point plus of plus 0.8, moving up the ladder here. I remember him saying this, F them picks. Remember? You remember him saying that, Benny?
That's a little while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Rebuilt the Rams with youth and savvy trades. Les Snead.
and won a Super Bowl along the way.
Went and got that quarterback. Some people might consider that the savvy trade, right? Sean
Well,
McVay.
one guy took him to a Super Bowl and they lost, traded him for another guy, took him to a Super Bowl and won.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Kind of reminds me of the Tampa Bay Bucks. One coach took them to the Super Bowl or the brink. Was it the brink? And then they brought in the Scowl. And he's back too, I understand. We'll talk about that. They're on our Facebook page. There's an article about him. Anywho, Sean McVay, head coach, offensive innovator, motion heavy, zone run, and play action maestro. I like the way that was described. Mike LaFleur, sounds familiar, Benny, offensive coordinator, brother of Matt, emphasizes spacing and quarterback rhythm and letting the head coach run the show. That's the other part of it. Defensive coordinator, Chris Shula, all of these names that we know, classic names here. Defensive coordinator, grandson of Don Shula, versatile fronts and defensive back development is what he's known for. And Chase Blackburn, special teams coordinator, former NFL linebacker, emphasizes toughness and situational awareness. I don't know why the old cartoon where the guy goes, which way did he go? When he said situational awareness. But there you go. And talking about the trade that took him over the top, Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl champ, elite arm talent and field vision, and health questions galore as of right now, would you say?
Yeah, anytime your quarterback has anytime any player, but especially a quarterback, has a back issue, brings up a lot of head scratching and a lot of trepidation. Supposedly, I heard somebody say he's got a disc problem. That is not good. But his treatment seems to be going along pretty well. He has been showing up. People have seen him at camp and at practice now. Last week, I was saying he hadn't been seen in practice for a week or so, but he's back now. So evidently, he's moved his treatment to the facility. That's a plus. And he's able to get out. And he looks pretty healthy when you just look at him. So I would say his treatment's probably coming along pretty well. Mike LaFleur, brother of the Green Bay head coach, obviously those two, and Sean McVay all came up through the Mike Shanahan coaching tree. That's a big plus if you ask me. And Les Snead has been a doggone good GM. This guy's done more with trades and acquisitions and moving money and bringing in big name guys and getting rid of big name guys for other big name guys, probably more than anybody else this side of Howie Roseman. So nice group here with the Rams. That NFC West is still a tough division.
You said it right there, buddy. Messing around with that NFC West. AFC West ain't no joke either, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. All right, let's change the whole vibe with the Houston Texans. General Manager Nick Caserio, average net point plus of +3. And we're into the whole numbers here, Benny. Whole numbers now. A Belichick disciple, emphasizes versatility and locker room fit. That's one way to look at it. Head coach D'Amico, former San Francisco head defensive coordinator. D'Amico Ryans, former Pro Bowl linebacker, defensive leader with player-first culture. Nick Caley, offensive coordinator, former Rams tight end coach, emphasizes spacing and short area efficiency. Benny, is there something about tight end coaches that make for good OCs or what?
I mean, we just recently talked about one, and now here's another one. I don't know what the heck is going on. I know one thing.
What's that?
Again, I'd have to see how long has this guy been on the Texans? I don't remember his name last year when we did this. D'Amico Ryans is a defensive-minded head coach. So it's very, very, very important that he has an OC he can depend on and it gets along with his quarterback, C.J. Stroud. If he doesn't, that can be a problem. And that's why a lot of people prefer to have offensive-minded head coaches because they know their emphasis is going to be offense, which is what puts the points on the board. Not saying that a defensive-minded coach can't be good or more than good, but it really depends on his choice of offensive coordinator and his ability to connect with his quarterback and run a system that's conducive to putting points on the board.
Well, how about 2025?
Okay, so he's got 1 year in under his belt, and let's remember, wait, 2025. So he just got there.
He just got there.
And he previously was a tight ends coach. Come on, man. All right, let's keep going. This is not looking good. And I had high hopes for the Texans this year.
Well, we shall see. Defensive coordinator Matt Burke. Experienced DC, blends 4-3 fronts with hybrid coverage schemes. Defensive coordinator Frank Ross. Top tier coordinator, ranked number 1 in special teams metrics in 2023 and 2024. And quarterback C.J. Stroud, Benny and I's number 1 pick when he came out. A rising star with elite accuracy and poise. He's the centerpiece of their rebuild there, Benny. So what else you got to say about the Texans?
Man, I had high hopes for the Texans this year. I looked at what happened to them offensively last year as a simple sophomore slump by CJ. Obviously, they had a couple of, Tank Dell went down with a bad injury. I think Nico was a little bit nicked up. The tight end had a little tough time. So Joe Mixon got nicked up. So the offense wasn't in the best of health, but CJ Stroud did not play well at all. I expected him to bounce back big time this year from last year. But with a brand new offensive coordinator who used to be a tight ends coach, I'm a little worried. Now, I mean, the guy might take to the job. He might do well. I don't know. I hope he does. Because a lot of my fantasy teams, I got Nico on a lot of my fantasy teams. So I need that offense to be clicking. So we'll see. But I have all the faith in the world in D'Amico, so I'm not even going to worry about the DC because I know D'Amico is going to be watching over him. And Nick Caserio, Belichick disciple, knows how to put a team together. Just needs a little time to get it done. But I expect, although I am a little bit worried now, I do expect the Texans to do well this season.
Well, there you go. That's the bottom line. All righty. Texans do well with C.J. Stroud. Next up, the Cincinnati Bengals. General manager de facto. Maybe this is why they can't make a decision on who is it? Their rusher. Duke Tobin. General manager, average net points of +3 also. And again, he had that de facto thing next to his name. Longtime Bengals architect, built the Burrows chase core through the draft. So there you go. Zach Taylor is their head coach, an offensive strategist from the McVay tree, emphasized timing, routes, and spread formations. Showing off in the preseason, too, with his number 1 receiver. Dan Pitcher, offensive coordinator, former quarterback coach, elevated to OC in 2024, known for tailoring schemes to Burrow's strengths. Defensive coordinator is Al Golden, veteran coach with college and NFL experience, emphasizes gap integrity and zone blitzes. And Darren Simmons, special teams coordinator, one of the longest tenured special teams coordinators, is known for consistent punting and return units. And quarterback Joe Burrow, elite processor and leader, pinpoint accuracy and clutch performance define his game, Benny. So there you have your Cincinnati Bengals.
I like that. They said Zach Taylor, head coach from the McVay tree. McVay comes from the Shanahan tree.
True.
Okay, but McVay's been around and he's had enough success to have started his own tree. So congratulations, Sean McVay. So I guess you could kind of put the floors underneath of McVay tree also, at least the younger one.
The younger one, yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Dan Pitcher, the offensive coordinator, obviously in my mind is still the quarterback coach, just an upgraded title and a bigger paycheck. DC, Al Golden. This guy has been around. He coached at Temple.
Wow.
He also coached at the University of Miami. And he is now back in the NFL as a DC. So this guy knows what he's doing. The problem is, just like I mentioned with a couple other teams, the knowledge of the DC can't be completely seen or felt without the proper personnel. So not only do they have weaknesses in their defense kind of all over the place, but the best doggone, or one of the best doggone pass rushers in the league is being gypped out of money. That de facto GM is probably the de facto GM because the team's not owned by one family anymore. So you got a whole bunch of people that have a stake in the ownership, but the guy that's supposed to be pulling the trigger may not know how to pull the trigger. One thing's for certain, they were cheap when the Brown family owned it, and they're still cheap now. Anytime a guy leads the league in sacks, tremendously leads the league in sacks, like there's no question he's the number one sack getter in the league for like 2 years straight.
Right.
And he's making $16 million a year. You should be embarrassed. You should be ashamed of yourself.
What's that, about 28 at the top?
What, for pass rushers?
Yeah.
There's 40.
Is it 40? Holy mackerel.
Garrett's making 40.
Jeez.
It's ridiculous.
And what makes it so even worse, or not, I don't know if it makes it worse, but if you look at the Cowboys with their pass rusher,
same thing.
If he signs a historic contract, then what's that's going to say about the Bengals?
They're stupid. They better hurry up and do him before. You know what they might. I don't even want to get in a long discussion about owners colluding and all this stuff. Okay, but you can't tell me that owner or de facto owner or whatever you want to call him ain't talking to Jerry Jones, because what's his name? Parsons is under contract.
Yeah.
So he either plays or he sits out.
Right.
And if he plays or sits out, it doesn't matter, because next year they can tag him. And then they can tag him again. He is not in the driver's seat. Jerry is. And Jerry's got the money.
All right.
But the Bengals, I don't get them at all.
All right. So there you go. We don't get you. We don't understand. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs. How about them Chiefs? General Manager Brett Veach, net point plus of plus 3.5. They were winning a lot of games by the skin of their chinny chin chin last year. They didn't look dominating. But Veach is the architect of the Mahomes era. He traded up in 2017 and built a dynasty around cost-efficient rookie deals and savvy veteran signings. Brett Veach, Braintrust, Kansas City Chiefs. Speaking of Braintrust, Andy Reid, head coach, one of the most innovative offensive minds in NFL history, blends West Coast principles with modern spread concepts. There you go. I remember he was trying to blend the West Coast principle back when he had, what's his name, with the Eagles, and he couldn't throw a short pass. But that's another story. Matt Nagy, offensive coordinator, former Bears head coach, now back with Reid, known for quarterback development and red zone creativity. You telling me Matt Nagy is coming up with all of those crazy red zone?
Nope.
Just, I know, that don't even sound like Matt Nagy. There's your boy Steve Spagnuolo, defensive coordinator with blitz every, pressure first philosophy. a veteran DC, key to Kansas City's defensive resurgence. And Mike Taub, special teams coordinator, widely regarded as one of the best special teams minds, consistently has top tier units. And last but not least, quarterback Patrick Mahomes, generational talent with elite improvisation, arm strength, and leadership, 3-time Super Bowl winner. Holy mackerels, just the thing about it. And now, to top it off, Taylor Swift loves football because of them. It's amazing, Benny. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a wild, wonderful world. Ah.
I assume you're talking about that last podcast when they had her on as a special guest, and she sat up there and lied and said she thought football meant Josh Allen and Jared Goff would line up against each other and he'd blow the whistle and the two of them would just go at it. She thought that's what football was, right? Okay. Okie dokie. Anyway, Patrick Mahomes,
Hey,
no
but
doubt
wait,
about it.
I will say this much. 2-3 days before that podcast, my daughter was talking about the podcast and football, and she never talks about football.
Oh, she's a Swiftie. There's trillions of this.
Hey, look, so it can't be all bad.
I didn't say it was bad. All I said was she got on the podcast
She
and she
lied.
lied. That's all I said. I didn't say she was bad. I like Taylor Swift.
You don't think she could have been that big of a knucklehead, eh? Okay, go ahead. I'm messing with you.
Anyway, Patrick Mahomes, 3-time Super Bowl champion. What can you say? Him and Matt Nagy must be getting along pretty well for Matt Nagy to hold on to that job, because obviously most of the game planning, special plays, and the playbook as a whole and the play calling on game day goes to Andy Reid. Yes, he is a genius. Yes, he comes from the Bill Walsh tree. And I'm gonna go back to the roots. That's the Bill Walsh tree. Mike Holmgren, right? Yeah. What's his name?
Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I can't remember what's his name right now. But anyway, great tree there. And now Andy Reid's been around long enough that he's got a tree. I'm not sure who's under it. But anyway, Steve Spagnuolo. Special place in my heart for Steve Spagnuolo. Used to be the DC for my New York Giants. Has a Super Bowl ring with the New York Giants. This is a defensive coordinator who is the opposite of the other guys that I mentioned, who are good defensive coordinators, but the defense doesn't show up because they don't have the proper personnel. This guy does more with less than any other DC in the NFL.
Okay.
Period. He devises his schemes around his talent, does not try to force talent that can't quite get along with his schemes, does not try to force those schemes down their throats. He makes the best of what he's got, and the best of what he's got is usually really, really good.
All right, is that it?
I don't want to talk about the Chiefs too much. People
Best,
are tired of talking about the Chiefs.
the best of what he's got is really, really good. I'm still trying to figure out how he got Chris loose on that one rush for my Niners. Nobody blocked him. Like,
He didn't do it. Y'all did it.
I'm like, how did nobody block the best rusher on the line?
One play away from a Super Bowl.
Oh my goodness. That's my story. All right, Benny. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers with General Manager Omar Khan. We can talk about them as much as we want to, but they had an average net point plus last year of plus 4.7. Cap savvy exec transition from finance to personnel with strong early returns. Head coach Mike Tomlin, respected motivator and tactician. Let's all say it together. Never had a losing season. Offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, former Falcons head coach, run heavy, play action specialist, and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, a veteran coach, emphasizes zone coverage and linebacker versatility, and special teams coordinator Danny Smith, longtime coordinator known for consistent coverage and return discipline, and now new quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 1AR Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer seeking final chapter success, cerebral and clutch. Well, we're going to see how clutch he is. That's going to be the big question. You're going to need to be clutch in that division for sure. What do you got on those Pittsburgh Steelers?
I hate to be negative on a team with a storied past like the Steelers. But it's funny, I was on Facebook going back and forth with people about top players at different positions and this, that, and the other. And somebody mentioned Christian McCaffrey. And a guy posted, Christian McCaffrey is cooked. He's had all these injuries. He's done. He's washed. And I said, bro, when have you ever seen Christian McCaffrey on the field not be a beast? I can't argue that he doesn't get hurt. I can't argue he's had a lot of injuries. But when he's on the field, he's a beast. He has shown no signs, zero signs of slowing down or being anywhere near being cooked. You want to talk about cooked? Aaron Rodgers is cooked. Okay? He might start off hot like he did with the Jets that time. Oh, wait. That's right. He got hurt in the first game, didn't he? On the first play. Oh, jeez. Defensively, I can't say too much bad about the Steelers defense. Cam Hayward's got himself in a little contract dispute. I don't know how that's going to work out. And I'm still trying to figure out what they're going to do in the secondary now that they have Jalen Ramsey. Are they going to put him on the corner and move Porter to safety? Are they going to leave Porter on the corner, move Ramsey to safety? They just brought Slater from the Eagles. I'm sure he's going to hold down one corner. But then again, he's probably the oldest guy out the bunch. Maybe they'll move him to safety. So I can't wait and see. And I'll probably have to wait for the first game to see how the starting lineup looks. So that's a big curiosity for me. This is it for Mike Tomlin as far as I'm concerned. This winning season stuff is getting old. It's way old with me. It's way old with a lot of people. And I think it's starting to get old with the fans of Pittsburgh. In fact, it's getting to the point where they really don't care if he has a winning season or not, unless we're at week 14 and a couple of wins will make the difference, and they have nothing else to hope for, then they hope for the winning season. That's a sad way to follow your team. That's just a sad way to follow your team. So, that's it for Pittsburgh. I'm sorry.
All right. Hope for a winning season when all else is pretty much out the window. And Aaron Rodgers is cooked. All right, Benny. We shall see. All right. You want to, there's a couple things on the page I wanted to mention. If you got a minute or two.
Go for it.
All right, Benny. Well, as I mentioned, the scowl is back. So the Nevada Supreme Court has ruled in favor of John Gruden in his appeal against the NFL. So I thought that was interesting, especially, and I'm going to scroll up kind of fast here because this guy is back too. And we just finished talking about him. All right. The NFL can be put on trial over civil claims that Brian Flores and other black coaches face discrimination, a federal court, appeals court ruled. So 2 big cases against the NFL have reappeared. Yeah.
Interesting. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know all the details of this, but as far as Flores is concerned, and this includes Steve Wilkes, and includes a couple other black coaches. Obviously, there's not that many of them, but I believe that most of them are in on this. The courts have found insurmountable flaws, is what they said. Insurmountable flaws with the league's arbitration process. That is not cool. Roger Goodell's got to call up his best lawyers to fix this one. The Gruden thing, I don't know how that's going to turn out, but I know he's happy to at least have his day in court because he thinks he got railroaded. So
Wow.
we'll see.
And from
We'll
what I
see.
understand in the arbitration scenario, Goodell's the arbitrator. So how can you have the
Well, I think Goodell's supposed to be the arbitrator, and he wasn't in this case.
but how can you even have, if the case is against the NFL, how can the leader of the NFL be the arbitrator? That don't even
That may be one of the insurmountable.
that is one of the
There you go. There you go. So they're going to have to come up with some answers.
oh my goodness.
And this could be interesting. Now, it took a while for this to come back up. I don't know how long it's going to take for it to actually go to court and we start hearing things about it. But, it's going to be interesting. Speaking of court,
Go ahead.
and I didn't see this on the page, so I just want to say real quick. Rashee Rice, for you fantasy guys out there, looks like his day in court's not going to come until September, so he may get to play the first 4 games of the season before possibly facing a suspension.
All righty. Well, Benny, I have to finish up with this because this is just too good. This is just too good, Benny. Ah, yes. How is Ben's team? How do you guys have the hardest strength of schedule, and Barry's team has the easiest strength of schedule?
That's kind of weird, ain't it?
I posted this article here from ESPN, and there is a really good article. It really goes through not just the strength of schedule, but how they come up with it. All the rules for the schedule are included here. Guys like you and I might be really interested, real hard-headed football fans, hardcore football fans. But the bottom line is team strength of schedule is primarily determined by a combined winning percentage of its opponents from the previous season. So there you go, Benny. This team with the strongest.
So the tougher schedule you play, the tougher it gets.
That's the strength of schedule, yeah.
That's goofy.
And then the other thing that they do here is when they rank them, they let you know on your schedule how many playoff teams are on your schedule. So, for example, you guys have 10 playoff teams on your schedule. And as I scroll down real fast to the bottom, my Niners have 4. So,
that's ridiculous.
Strength of schedule. So, however they figured that out, that's all included in that article. I just thought it was.
I'm not even going to read it because it's just going to make me mad.
Well, one thing I will say, there's not a lot of spread between these strength of schedules top to bottom. I mean, 400 to 500, you're in that in terms of the winning percentage. But the top half, they're all just around 500. You know what I mean? So whether it's 5.43 or 5.39, it's not, I don't think, an appreciable difference. Probably the thing with the playoff number of teams could be even more of a difference. But I did take the time just to go and do some research to see if there was a correlation between the strength of schedule and the win-loss record. And apparently there is some level of a correlation. It's not really strong. What they're saying is that if you take it in context with roster strength, injury reports, quarterback play, and the coaching abilities, then that's how you get your win-loss record. So it's just one part of a winning formula. So Benny, go Niners.
It's only good if you do something good with it.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's for sure. Well, that's
Nobody
all.
expects the Giants to win anyways.
Oh,
If I get 6 wins, I'll be kind of happy.
6 wins? Are you serious?
If I get
I'm
6
thinking
wins,
you guys can do better than that myself.
if I get
the strongest,
bro, we play the AFC West.
that is true.
That's not good right there.
That's one of the reasons your strength of schedule is what it is. You're up against the AFC West. So
if I get 6 wins, I'll be pretty happy. I'll be okay. If I get 8 wins, I'll be ecstatic.
if you come in second in the division, you got a shot at the playoff, though, right?
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm talking.
Well, I would say that is within the realm of possibility. but not really within the realm of probability. Not unless
Russell Wilson.
Not unless, well, it doesn't really have anything to do with Russell Wilson. It has more to do with Jaden Daniels. So if Jaden Daniels comes out and is what everybody thinks he is, I can forget about second place in the division. But if he has a sophomore slump like C.J. Stroud did, which we didn't see coming,
no,
that could make a difference.
Well, Stroud was somewhat precipitated by poor line play, offensive line play.
Okay.
And you're in a division where the line is everything. So, as far as the Eagles are concerned. Remember that one play, and I think it was one of those plays where Saquon ran right. And I told you, I said, look at the line of scrimmage. Every defensive lineman for the Commanders was on the ground. It was a pancake fest. It was crazy. So, yeah, that's and you guys got a good defensive line, and you got
we have a great defensive line.
Oh, there you go. I mean, that's a part of it right there. That's a part of it. So, okay, well, that's all I got, Benny. Anything from you?
No, I think I'm ready to settle down and take a look at the schedule for this weekend and pick out the games I want to watch.
Benny's gonna watch some preseason, y'all.
Well, it's the second game, so some starters might actually play this week.
I actually realized, and I'm one of the people who like to play the starters during the season, but it really screws me up when you see some starters mixed in and not sure from the results. Was it because you got starters against third stringers?
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't. People can never get too hyped. You can get hype about individual players, sort of, kind of, but you don't want to get hyped about the teams at all because, it's really hard to tell. I got a phone call that I must answer, so I'm out of here. Take it easy.